Hey everyone, and welcome back to Love Hackers. I'm Alex Carter.
And I'm Sophie Tanaka.
We're your go-to dating gurus, serving up those daily doses of dating advice to help you navigate the often confusing world of romance.
It can be pretty confusing.
It can be. So today, we're diving deep into a topic that I think a lot of guys are curious about.
Oh, I think so too.
Decoding the subtle and not so subtle ways older women flirt. You know, sometimes I catch myself wondering, is she just being friendly? Or is there something more there?
Yeah, it's a question we get a lot. And honestly, it makes sense. There's this common idea that older women are more direct, which can definitely be true.
Yeah.
But you'll also find they use this fascinating mix of obvious and subtle signals. It's like they've mastered the art of keeping us on our toes.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. Why the blend of direct and subtle? What's the strategy behind that?
Well, think about it. Older women, they have more experience. They know what they want, and they're not afraid to go for it. That directness can be incredibly attractive. That it doesn't mean they've abandoned the art of flirting altogether.
So it's not just about cutting to the chase. There's still an element of that playful dance, letting the attraction simmer a bit.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between confidence and intrigue.
Yeah.
Now let's start with some of those classic signs that are always relevant no matter the age.
Okay.
Eye contact and smiles.
The fundamentals.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with those.
Yeah.
What should we be looking for here?
Absolutely. But the key is to pay attention to the nuances. A friendly smile is different from a flirtatious one. Look for warmth, genuineness, and expressiveness. Does her smile reach her eyes?
Yeah.
Does it linger a little longer than usual? Those are clues worth noticing.
You know that smile that kind of makes you wonder if there's something more behind it?
Exactly.
Okay. And what about eye contact? I've always been a bit confused about that. Is it about how intensely she looks at you or how often?
It's a bit of both. Holding your gaze for a beat longer than what's socially acceptable is definitely a sign.
Okay.
But even shy women will make brief eye contact, maybe even look away quickly if they're caught. The key is to watch for repeated glances, those little moments of connection that suggest she's interested.
So it's not just about a fleeting look from across the room. It's about sustained interest.
Yeah.
Those moments where you feel that spark.
Speaking of taking the initiative, I've noticed that older women seem to be more comfortable doing that.
You're absolutely right. You'll find they're often the ones to start conversations.
Interesting.
And they tend to be very engaged listeners, which can be incredibly refreshing.
It definitely takes some of the pressure off us guys, wouldn't you say?
It does, but it also reveals something really important. Older women value their time.
Right.
They're less likely to waste it on someone they're not interested in. So if she's initiating conversations, actively listening to you, hanging on your every word,
Yeah.
that's a very good sign.
It's like she's pre-qualifying you in a way, saying, hey, I'm interested now, let's see what you've got.
Exactly. Now let's move on to a topic that can be a bit trickier to navigate touch.
Oh yeah, always a delicate subject, especially when you're trying to decipher someone's intentions. It is, but it's also a powerful tool for flirting. We all know that touch can communicate a lot, but with older women, it often goes beyond those casual social norms.
Right.
It might be a lingering touch on your arm, a playful brush of her hand against yours.
So we're talking about that kind of touch that makes you think, wait, did that just happen?
Precisely. That kind of touch that breaks the touch barrier, creating a moment of connection. That's just a little bit electric.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about compliments. Do older women use them differently when they're flirting?
You'll find that their compliments tend to be very sincere, and they often go beyond those surface-level observations. They might compliment your sense of humor, your intelligence, or something specific about your personality that they find attractive.
So it's not just a quick, hey, nice shirt.
Yeah.
It's more thoughtful, more personal. It's like they're actually seeing you.
Exactly. They're paying attention, and they're letting you know they see you, not just your appearance. Now, this next one might seem counterintuitive, but older women sometimes use a tactic that can throw guys off.
Really? I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
They might casually mention other men being interested in them.
Wait, really? Isn't that a surefire way to kill the mood? Why would they do that?
It might seem that way, but it's actually a subtle way of highlighting their desirability.
Okay.
It's like saying, hey, I'm a catch. And other people recognize that. It sparks that little bit of healthy competition.
So it's a bit of a limited edition strategy. A touch of jealousy to pique your interest.
Exactly. It's a power move, and it can be very effective.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all comes together. Older women aren't playing games, but they're definitely not afraid to be a little strategic.
Absolutely. Now, here's a sign that's usually pretty straightforward. You might notice an older woman dropping the single bomb.
Ah, yes. No more guessing about relationship status.
Right, whether she mentions it directly or finds a way to casually slip it into the conversation. It's a clear signal that she's available and potentially interested.
So it's not just idle chatter. It's a strategic move to let you know she's on the market. What about when she asks about your relationship status? Is that significant?
Absolutely. Older women rarely waste time on small talk, especially when it comes to relationships. If she's asking about your relationship status, it's because she genuinely wants to know.
It's like she's doing her due diligence,
Yeah,
making sure the coast is clear.
precisely. Now, have you ever experienced this? You keep bumping into the same woman in unexpected places?
Okay, I've definitely had that happen before. You keep seeing the same person at your favorite coffee shop, the gym,
Yeah.
or even just around your neighborhood. It makes you wonder if it's fate.
While it might feel like coincidence, this accidental bump-in is often a deliberate attempt to create opportunities for interaction. Older women understand the power of familiarity. The more they see you,
Yeah.
the more you become a comfortable presence in their lives.
So it's not just luck or serendipity. She's putting herself in your path, hoping to catch your eye, and maybe spark a conversation.
Right. It's a low-risk way to test the waters to see if you'll take the bait and strike up a conversation. It's all about creating those chance encounters.
I like that. It's like a subtle invitation, a way of saying, I'm here, I'm interested. What are you going to do about it? So what's another sign that an older woman wants to take things beyond that initial flirting stage?
One of the clearest signs is when she starts asking you personal questions. It
Mhm.
shows she's genuinely interested in getting to know the real you.
So we're talking about more than just, how's your day, or what do you do for work?
Right. She might ask about your passions, your dreams, your fears, those things that reveal who you are at your core.
Hmm.
It's about connecting on a deeper level.
It's like she's digging deeper, trying to understand what makes you tick.
Exactly. She wants to know the real you, not just the surface level persona. And that's a sign that she's genuinely interested in building a connection.
This is all fascinating stuff,
Yeah.
Sophia. I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Older women flirt with a confidence and intentionality that's really refreshing.
They do.
Yeah.
And recognizing these signs is just the first step. You still need to take action to show her you're interested too.
Absolutely. Don't just sit there admiring her from afar. You've got to step up and show her you're interested. But how can we test the waters and see if our intuition is right? I was reading something about a few tests you can use.
Hold on just a second. Before you go into those, I want to offer a word of caution. These tests can be helpful as additional clues,
Okay.
but they shouldn't be your sole focus.
I appreciate that perspective, Sophie. We always want to be respectful and genuine in our interactions.
Exactly. The best way to know if someone is interested is to pay attention to the overall vibe, their body language, and how they engage with you. Use these tests sparingly as little hints, rather than relying on them entirely.
Right. Context is key. These tests are just another tool in your toolbox, not a guaranteed formula for success. So tell me more about these mysterious tests.
Okay. Leave them on me.
Well, there's something called a hand test. You find a natural moment in the conversation. Put your hands up, palms up, and ask her to give you her hands.
Interesting. It's a playful way to initiate physical contact. What's the idea behind it?
The idea is that if she's interested, she'll respond positively. Maybe even mirror your gesture by placing her hands in your palms up. And then you can observe how she responds to touch, whether she squeezes back if her hands linger when you pull away.
I see. It's about reading those subtle cues, seeing how she responds to your advances. What else you got?
Then there's the feet test. This one involves a bit of strategic movement.
Oh, sounds intriguing.
So let's say you're at a bar or a cafe. You find a reason to move to a different spot, maybe to order a drink or get some fresh air,
Uh-huh.
and you invite her to come with you.
Okay. So it's a subtle way to test her willingness to follow your lead, to see if she wants to stay close to you.
Right. And while you're walking, you can observe her body language. Does she walk close to
Mhm.
you? Does she take your hand? Does she linger when you reach your destination?
It's about gauging how comfortable she is being in close proximity to you,
Yeah.
how she responds to those subtle invitations to connect physically. I like it. What's next?
The proximity test is next. This one is based on the idea that if a woman is attracted to you, she'll often position herself in a way that makes it easy for you to approach her.
That's fascinating. So it's about noticing those subtle cues that suggest she's open to being approached, that she's maybe even hoping you'll take the initiative.
Exactly. Let's say you're at a party and you keep noticing the same woman standing within a comfortable distance from you, even as you move around the room. That could be a sign that she's interested and waiting for you to make a move.
It's like she's subconsciously creating those opportunities for chance encounters. making it easier for you to strike up a conversation.
Exactly. And if you're feeling bold, you can even test this theory by approaching her from behind and gently tapping her on the shoulder.
Okay. That's a bit more direct, but it could work if you read the situation right.
It is,
Hmm.
but it can be a good way to gauge her reaction. If she's startled or seems annoyed, that's probably not a good sign. But if she seems relaxed and receptive, then you're probably in the clear.
So it's a bit of a calculated risk. But the reward could be finding out that she's been hoping you'd approach her all night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, how about the qualification test? This one is all about reciprocity and seeing if she's willing to put in the effort to impress you.
Intriguing. I'm all about a woman who knows her worth and is willing to show you what she's got. How does this test work?
The idea is to find a playful way to ask her what qualities she has to offer beyond her looks. You're essentially challenging her to qualify herself to you.
I love that. You're flipping the script, putting the ball in her court.
Right, and if she's interested, she'll rise to the challenge. She'll try to impress you, to show you that she's more than just a pretty face.
It's about seeing if she's willing to invest in the interaction, to put in the effort to win you over.
Exactly. Now, last but not least, we have the pinging test.
Pinging like sonar.
Kind of. The idea is to send out little pings of physical contact and see how she responds.
Okay, I'm curious. Give me an example.
Let's say she tells a joke and you find it genuinely funny. You might playfully touch her arm or shoulder while laughing, and then you watch to see if she reciprocates. Maybe by touching you back or leaning into your touch.
It's a way to test the waters, to see if there's a mutual attraction, a willingness to engage in that playful, physical banter.
I like that this one is playful and subtle, as long as you're reading her cues correctly.
Exactly. And the key is to pay attention to the frequency and intensity of her responses. If she's consistently pinging back, that's a good sign.
It's like you're building a rhythm, a playful connection through those little moments of touch. I feel like after this deep dive, you're well on your way to becoming fluent in the language of older women flirting.
You know, I think you're right. I'm starting to feel like I'm finally cracking the code. Older women flirt with a confidence and intentionality that's really refreshing.
They do. And recognizing these signs and using those tests sparingly are just the first steps. You still need to take action and show her you're interested too.
We're diving deeper into the art of decoding how older women flirt and what makes dating them so unique.
I feel like we've already uncovered so much, all those subtle signals, and even a few tests to try out. I'm practically an expert now, but I'm ready for more. What happens next?
I love your enthusiasm. And while we've covered a lot of ground, let's talk about taking things to the next level. You've noticed the signs, maybe you've even tried a test or two. Now what? How do you turn that initial spark into something more?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to recognize the signs, but it's another to actually make a move, especially with someone who seems so confident and self-assured.
You've hit the nail on the head. Confidence and timing are crucial. You'll find older women value their time, and they're not afraid to walk away if they sense hesitation or insecurity.
So how do we strike that balance between being respectful and being assertive? I don't want to come on too strong, but I also don't want to miss my chance.
It's all about reading the situation, paying attention to those nonverbal cues, and trusting your instincts. If you're feeling that spark, chances are she is too. But you want to approach it with a sense of playful confidence, rather than overwhelming her.
Okay, so let's say we've passed the initial flirting stage. There's a definite mutual attraction, and we're ready to take things further. What's the best way to escalate things without seeming too aggressive or awkward?
Subtlety is key here. Remember, older women are often more experienced and discerning, so a clumsy or overly aggressive approach will likely backfire. Think elegance, not a bull in a china shop.
So definitely no cheesy pickup lines or over-the-top gestures. Got it.
Exactly. Think more along the lines of a genuine compliment, a thoughtful observation, or a playful invitation that gives her the space to respond.
Can you give us some specific examples? I'm all about practical advice that we can use right away.
Absolutely. Imagine you're at a bar and you've been enjoying a great conversation. You could say something like, "I'm really enjoying our conversation. Would you be interested in continuing this somewhere a bit quieter?"
I like that. It's direct, but not pushy. It gives her the option to gracefully decline if she's not feeling it, without either of you feeling awkward.
Exactly. Or let's say you're at a social gathering and you notice she's admiring a piece of art or a particular book. You can use that shared interest as a way to connect on a deeper level.
That makes sense. How would you approach that kind of situation?
You could say something like, "I've always admired that artist's work. What about you? What draws you to this piece?
It's a great way to start a conversation that goes beyond small talk, to connect over shared interests and passions. It shows you're paying attention and that you have a genuine interest in her perspective.
Exactly. And from there, you can gauge her level of engagement, see if she's reciprocating your interests.
So it's all about creating those opportunities for deeper connection, showing her that you're interested in more than just a fleeting encounter.
Precisely. And once you've established that rapport, that sense of mutual interest, you can start to introduce more playful and flirtatious elements into the conversation.
Like what? Give me some examples.
It could be a light touch on the arm, a lingering glance, a playful tease or suggestive compliment. But the key is to calibrate your approach based on her responses, her body language, and the overall vibe of the interaction.
So we're back to reading those subtle cues again.
Yeah.
It's like learning a new language, the language of attraction.
It is, in a way. The language of attraction is universal, but there are always subtle variations based on age, experience, and personality.
Right. We need to be attuned to those nuances to adapt our approach accordingly. It's all about being present and in the moment rather than following a script.
You got it. And remember, confidence is key. Older women are drawn to men who are comfortable in their own skin, who don't need to try too hard to impress.
So be yourself, be genuine, and let your personality shine through.
Absolutely. And most importantly, have fun. Flirting should be a playful and enjoyable experience, not a high-pressure performance. Now, before we get into the unique benefits and challenges of dating older women, let's talk about some common mistakes guys make when they're flirting. Avoiding these pitfalls will definitely up your game.
Okay, I'm all ears. I want to make sure I'm not accidentally sabotaging my chances.
One of the biggest mistakes is trying too hard to be young or cool.
So no pretending to be a club-hopping party animal or trying to use slang. I don't understand.
Exactly. Older women have been there, done that. They're looking for someone who's comfortable with their own age and experience, someone who brings something unique and valuable to the table. Authenticity is your superpower.
So it's all about being genuine, not who I think she wants me to be, just be myself, flaws and all.
That's the best way to make a genuine connection. Another common mistake is being too eager or pushy.
So no showering her with compliments or trying to move things too fast before she's ready.
Right. You'll find that older women appreciate a man who is respectful of their boundaries, who understands that seduction is an art, not a race.
It's about letting the attraction build naturally, allowing the connection to unfold at its own pace. No need to force it.
Exactly. And here's another mistake that can be a real turnoff. Focusing too much on age.
I'm curious about that one. What do you mean?
Don't make it a big deal. Don't constantly comment on how young she looks or how amazing it is that she's interested in a younger guy.
So treat her like any other woman you're attracted to, without making age the central focus of the interaction. Just focus on the connection you feel.
You got it. Older women want to be seen for who they are, not for their age. Now, we've been talking about in-person flirting, but let's shift gears and dive into the world of online dating. It's become such a popular way to meet people, and it can be especially effective for connecting with older women.
It definitely seems like a good way to expand your dating pool and meet people you might not otherwise encounter in your everyday life. But I'm curious, are there specific strategies for flirting with older women online?
Absolutely. Remember, the rules of the game are a bit different in the digital world. It's all about making a strong first impression and capturing her attention through your profile and messages.
So what are the secrets to success when it comes to online dating, especially with older women?
Well, it all starts with your profile. It's your digital first impression, your chance to showcase who you are and what you're looking for.
Okay, so no heavily filtered selfies or trying to portray myself as someone I'm not. Got it.
Exactly. Use recent photos that show your personality and highlight your interests. Be honest about your hobbies, your passions, and what you're looking for in a partner. Authenticity is incredibly appealing, and it will attract women who are genuinely compatible with you.
So it's about attracting the right kind of woman, someone who's genuinely compatible with me, not just someone who's impressed by a fabricated image.
Precisely. Now, when it comes to messaging older women online, there are a few key things to keep in mind.
All right, give me those insider tips.
First and foremost, personalize your messages. Take the time to read her profile, find something specific that you can comment on or ask about.
So no generic, hey, how are you? Messages I need to stand out from the crowd and show her I'm genuinely interested.
Exactly. Show her that you're paying attention and that you're genuinely interested in getting to know her as an individual. Then, once you've initiated contact, be confident and engaging in your messages. Don't be afraid to show your personality, your sense of humor, and your intelligence.
So no one-word replies? Or boring, predictable conversation starters? Ask open-ended questions, share anecdotes, and try to keep the conversation flowing.
That's the way to do it. It's about creating that spark, that sense of connection, even through a screen.
It seems like online dating really levels the playing field in a way.
Mm.
You have the chance to connect with someone based on shared interests and compatibility rather than just physical attraction.
You're absolutely right. And that can be especially beneficial when it comes to dating older women. Now, if the conversation is flowing well and you're feeling that vibe, don't be afraid to escalate things.
What would that look like in the online dating world?
If you're both enjoying the exchange, suggest moving things to a phone call or a video chat.
That makes sense. It's a way to break out of the digital realm, to connect on a more personal level, and really get a feel for each other's energy.
Exactly. And from there, you can gauge her interest and see if there's a spark in real life.
So we've tackled online dating. Now let's talk about approaching older women in real-life settings. What are some effective ways to flirt without coming across as creepy or disrespectful?
Great question. Let's say you're at a bar or a social gathering. Remember, confidence is key. Walk up to her with a genuine smile and introduce yourself.
Okay, so no lurking in the shadows or trying to be overly smooth.
Exactly. Be approachable, be friendly, and make eye contact.
Right. It's about making a good first impression, showing her that I'm comfortable and confident in my own skin. But once I've introduced myself, how do I keep the conversation going?
That's where your powers of observation come in. Look for something specific that you can comment on or ask about. Maybe she's wearing a unique piece of jewelry, or she's reading a book that you've been meaning to check out.
I see. I can use those observations as conversation starters to show her that I'm paying attention and that I'm genuinely interested in getting to know her.
Exactly. And once you've got the conversation flowing, be a good listener. Ask thoughtful questions, show genuine interest in her responses, and share a bit about yourself as well. It's all about creating a balanced and engaging exchange.
It's about finding that common ground and building rapport. Then, as the conversation progresses, I can start to introduce a bit of playful flirting.
You got it. It could be a lighthearted tease, a suggestive compliment, or even a lingering touch on the arm. But always be respectful of your boundaries and read her cues carefully.
Right. It's about finding that sweet spot between being playful and being respectful, gauging her reactions, and adjusting my approach accordingly. No one wants to feel uncomfortable or pressured.
Exactly. Now, if you're feeling a strong connection and the timing feels right, don't be afraid to ask for her number or suggest meeting up again sometime.
So be bold, be confident, and take the initiative. What if she says no?
Then you be gracious and respect her decision. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, and you never know, maybe the timing just wasn't right. The more you put yourself out there, the more likely you are to find someone who's a perfect match for you.
It's all part of the game. And even a no can be a valuable learning experience.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about another setting where guys often wonder how to flirt with older women, the workplace.
Ah, yes, the workplace. A delicate environment to navigate, especially when it comes to matters of the heart.
Exactly. So how do we strike that balance between being professional and being flirtatious when we're attracted to an older woman at work?
Well, first and foremost, it's crucial to be aware of your company's policies regarding workplace relationships.
Right. We want to make sure we're not crossing any lines or jeopardizing our professional standing.
Exactly. And even if there aren't explicit rules against it, it's important to proceed with caution and discretion.
So how do we flirt subtly and respectfully in the workplace without putting ourselves or the woman we're attracted to in an awkward or uncomfortable position?
Well, it starts with being mindful of your interactions. Keep things professional during work hours, but look for opportunities to connect on a more personal level outside of work-related tasks.
So maybe chat about a shared interest during a coffee break, or strike up a conversation about a book or movie during lunch.
Exactly. Find those moments where you can connect as individuals, not just as colleagues. And when you do interact, be respectful of her space and time. Don't monopolize her attention or make her feel pressured in any way.
Right. It's about building a rapport gradually, showing her that I'm interested in getting to know her on a deeper level, but always respecting her professional boundaries.
Exactly. And if you sense that she's reciprocating your interest, you can start to introduce more subtle, flirtatious elements into your interactions.
Like what, for instance? I'm imagining it's a lot more subtle than in other settings.
It could be a lingering glance, a genuine compliment, or a playful tease. But always be mindful of the context and keep things light and appropriate for the workplace.
So, no suggestive jokes or overly personal questions.
Definitely not. And if you're ever unsure about whether something is appropriate, err on the side of caution. It's always better to play it safe than to risk jeopardizing your professional reputation or making anyone feel uncomfortable.
Right. And I imagine it can get even trickier if there's a power dynamic at play, like if she's my boss or supervisor.
You're absolutely right. You need to be extra cautious and aware of the potential for misunderstandings or misinterpretations in those situations. It's always best to prioritize maintaining a professional and respectful relationship.
So if you're feeling a strong connection and you sense that she's interested too, you can consider suggesting a casual after-work hangout.
Exactly. Maybe grab a drink or check out a new restaurant together, but keep it low-key and casual and make it clear that it's optional.
No pressure, no expectations, just a chance to connect outside of the office environment. But what about the age gap? I know a lot of guys worry about that when it comes to dating older women.
That's a great question, and one we'll definitely address after the break. It's important to remember that age is just a number. What matters most is compatibility, shared values, and mutual attraction.
Welcome back to Love Hackers. We've been on quite a journey exploring the fascinating world of how older women flirt and what makes dating them so unique.
It's been a fun ride. I feel like we've given you all the tools you need to decode those subtle signals, make a confident move, and even navigate the complexities of flirting in different settings, like online and at work.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground, but there's one more important aspect we need to discuss. It's something a lot of guys think about when it comes to dating older women, the benefits and challenges that come with it.
You're right. It's important to be realistic and go into any relationship with open eyes. Let's start with the good stuff. What are some of the benefits of dating an older woman?
I'm all ears.
One of the biggest advantages is experience. Older women have simply lived more life. They've had more time to figure out who they are, what they want, and what truly matters to them.
Right? They bring a wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and a different perspective to the table. It's like having a built-in life coach and adventure partner all rolled into one.
Exactly. You'll likely find they're more self-aware, more emotionally mature, and more confident in who they are.
It's refreshing to be with someone who's already done a lot of the soul-searching and self-discovery. They're not playing games or trying to figure things out as they go along.
Absolutely. And that confidence can be incredibly attractive. They're not afraid to be vulnerable, they know what they want, and they go after it with a sense of purpose.
I love that. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of dating. You don't have to decipher mixed signals or wonder where you stand.
Exactly. They're more likely to be direct and honest about their feelings and intentions. And because they're often more established in their careers and lives, they tend to be more financially independent as well.
So there's less pressure on the guy to be the sole provider or to always foot the bill.
Yeah.
It's more about enjoying each other's company and sharing experiences rather than worrying about who's paying for what.
Precisely. It's about building a partnership based on mutual respect and equality. Now, let's be real. There are also potential challenges that come with dating an older woman. It's important to be aware of these and to navigate them with open communication and understanding.
Okay, let's talk about those challenges.
Yeah.
What are some things we should be mindful of?
As we mentioned earlier, one potential challenge is the difference in life stages. You might be at different points in your careers, have different long-term goals, or have different ideas about settling down or starting a family.
Right, she might be thinking about retirement or downsizing while I'm still focused on building my career or traveling the world.
Exactly. It's crucial to be open and honest about your expectations and make sure you're both on the same page. Don't avoid those important conversations.
Communication is definitely key in any relationship, but especially when there's a significant age gap. Talk about your goals, your dreams, your fears, and make sure you're both moving in a direction that feels good for both of you.
You got it. Another potential challenge you might face is dealing with societal judgments or disapproval from family or friends. Not everyone is going to understand or be supportive of a relationship with an age gap.
That's true. There can be a lot of stereotypes and misconceptions out there.
Absolutely. But ultimately, it's your relationship, and you need to focus on what makes you both happy.
That's great advice. Surround yourself with people who support you, and don't let the opinions of others dictate your choices. If you're both happy and fulfilled, that's all that truly matters.
Couldn't have said it better myself. At the end of the day, every relationship has its unique challenges regardless of age. It's about finding someone you connect with on a deeper level, someone who shares your values, and someone who brings out the best in you.
That's a great way to put it. If you find that with an older woman, embrace it and enjoy the journey. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on dating and relationships thanks to our deep dive today.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, the most important thing is to be yourself, be respectful, and most of all, have fun.
Those are words to live by. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible insights with us today, Sophie.
It was my pleasure, Alex.
And to all of you love hackers out there, we hope this deep dive into the world of older women has been helpful. Remember, you can find us every day with more dating advice, tips, and strategies to help you navigate the exciting world of love and relationships.
Don't forget to subscribe to Love Hackers and leave us a rating or review. We love hearing from you.
And if you found this episode especially helpful, share it with your friends and spread the love. Until next time, happy dating.